5:32, and we are working the latest developments now in the airline disaster in Ukraine. What we know right now, rescue workers, policemen, and off-duty coal miners are now on the scene, combing the area right near the site in eastern Ukraine where that Malaysian jetliner crashed yesterday. Also, rescue workers say they have recovered a second data flight recorder from the plane. Pro-Russian separatists have agreed to ensure safe access for international experts investigating the site. Also this morning, we still do not know if there were any Americans on board the flight, but we have learned that 108 scientists and researchers from around the world involved in the fight against AIDS were on board that plane. People from across the world are now mourning the lives of the 298 people who died. Ukraine is accusing pro-Russian separatists of shooting down the plane, which they are denying. U.S. intelligence officials say that a surface-to-air missile likely brought the plane down, but they're still trying to determine who exactly fired that missile. So certainly there are many questions this morning about who and what shot down the plane. So Eyewitness News tried to get some preliminary answers. We spoke to our Eyewitness News analyst who knows firsthand what it's like to deal with surface-to-air missiles, which are being blamed on yesterday's airline disaster. Eyewitness News reporter Jared Pliner has more in-depth coverage now.
Rhode Island and broader New England were once protected from foreign bomber aircraft by Nike Hercules and Nike Ajax surface-to-air missiles. In light of this recent tragedy, we talked missile defense with a man who oversaw that defense effort locally. Eyewitness News Analyst General Reginald Centracchio knows surface-to-air missiles. He once commanded defense systems in Rhode Island, keeping Providence and Boston safe from Soviet aircraft and other threats. That was 40 years ago.
Not much has changed with the exception of the technology that goes into the computer systems and the missile itself.
The basic idea:
every aircraft has a signal it's being emitted to tell them that we're friendly. We have a significant flight plan that we're flying, and we're going this fast, we're flying at this altitude.
The absence of that signal may indicate a foe.
Our protocol at that time was to send 2 jet fighters out and check it out.
And if those jets failed to give the okay,
you would lock on with your secondary radar, you would launch the missile and be able to have the computer tell you where the missile should explode. Basically, it puts up a wall of steel. The aircraft flies into it and obviously damages and brings an aircraft down.
In this eastern Ukrainian case, Centracchio poses an important question.
This is a well-known combat area. 2 previous aircraft were taken down in the past week. Why would a civilian aircraft be flying through the area?
Nevertheless, a few possibilities.
Maybe that aircraft was flying outside its flight plan. Perhaps it was not emitting the signal to suggest it was friendly. And maybe it was because they couldn't identify it properly and it was mistaken for another aircraft and obviously shot down.
And moving forward, General Centracchio says he could see American military personnel assisting in the aircraft recovery effort if the Ukrainians requested. He could also see the U.S. providing airspace monitoring and intelligence. With the Mobile Newsroom, I'm Jared Pliner, Eyewitness News.
And count on us to bring you continuing coverage of this tragic airline disaster throughout the day. You can get updates around the clock anytime at WPRI.com as well.